welcome back. A lot going on here. Ooh, gotta turn the heat off. Got done shoveling. We had a pretty decent sized snowstorm last night until today. No work today. Roads were absolute shit. This is a specific video, but there's a couple things going on. The Wing Saga, if you're following along and a subscriber of the channel, I have gotten the remote. Thanks to Speedy B for reaching out to me, the remote, to talk to the quad to get the servos to move. They are not moving in the proper orientation. For example, I was moving roll and it was making the pitch go up and down. So channel remapping or something I'm still not super familiar with. Haven't done it in a long time, and I'm completely new with iNav. And then the other thing is I have this ESC and it wasn't doing anything, so either it's dead or it needs to be programmed, and I have never programmed an ESC before. I tried my buddy Chet's, but I could not get it to go into beeping, so no throttle output. But like I said, we're stepping up the ladder. I got it doing some stuff. I've got it all kind of taken apart in there. But anyway, today's video is about flow. Flow is the flywoo flylens 85 HD. Excuse me, I was burping. Homemade matcha, the best, right there. Spend a couple minutes, tastes better for you than going to crappy Dunkin' Donuts or whatever and buying some shit. Anyway, so in the pursuit of flight times and multitasking and stuff at the moment, flight control and quietness and all those things, there's a couple guys I've been talking with, and they're testing props, I'm testing props, and I liked the 4-blade gemfan. I think they're the Hulkies. I had them in the light blue. Quietest props I have flown on this yet, and gemfan Hulkies have always been good, all the way back to my flylens 80, flylens, what a dope. My, at the time it was King Kong, the Fly Egg 100, which is now HGLRC, and that thing's a million years old. But it was like my first micro and getting into it and loved it. So I did a lot of prop testing, and I believe that was the same props. It's either 1.9, but I put 2. Doesn't matter. These are the gemfan Hulkies. I don't have the bag out with me. I have them in the smoke color and in these. I found that there was plenty of pressure pushing down because there's no screws that mount onto these, that they held snug. No problems. 0 vibrations. And a super good flight time. when you're flying around and you're goofing around, you want to try things that you would if you were out in a bando or out in the woods. For me, it's tiny gaps, continuous flight time, smoothness, and that's what I tried to replicate in the basement. The only factor missing from this would be any breeze, and I probably, unless it was super, super light, I wouldn't fly this outside with any breeze. But somewhere around 9 minutes with 1,000 milliamp on the 2-blade props, I was getting 5 to 6-ish with the 4-bladers, so a decent loss for a sacrifice of a little bit of sound. These, all the way up to 8.5 minutes, I'm getting with very consecutive, similar flight styles, from super crawling to just kind of whipping around the entire basement, trying to keep continuous movement on it, a little fluctuation in throttle, and keep the air unit in here nice and cool. So I am very happy with these. I'm going to rock these for now. If there was, maybe that's an interesting test to try on a breezier day, or a little bit breezier day where I'd feel comfortable. Try the different props, if it would help. I would assume it would to a degree, but is it worth it? But either way, you have different props to try. If you break props, you always have props. So you're going to sacrifice a little flight time. And then I might even go to the extent of taking one of the 4-blades, and because they've got a much fatter style wingspan on it, no pun intended, cut one of those into 2-bladers and see how those do. See what the thrust is. And, if you're into tuning the quads a bit, I recommend finding your favorite prop first and then doing a little bit of tune, because it will vary just a bit. So far, I've been good with the 3 props I've changed across the board, other than, in the throttle curve a little bit. I've had to tweak when I went to these versus the other, just to keep my hover point nice and smooth, because again, I'm using the DJI remote with this, so you've got such a small throw on that compared to my Spectrum remote. So any movement is so amplified compared to that remote over there. I did add a ton of expo, and my throttle curve on like pitch, for example, is really flat right into the end. So very mild acro with this, nothing hardcore, because I want this to be a super slow cruiser to go into some of these kick-ass bandos, or once it gets green again outside, instead of all the snow that's out there right now, to be able to creep through all those tiny gaps and be confident in my stick movement that it will work. But that is my findings with these props. Again, if you found a prop that works for you, I'd love to hear about it. I'm sure everybody else would. And obviously flight time is super important, and the flight characteristics. So I like sharing and helping and doing the best I can to help the community with the knowledge that I have, and I hope it helped. So I got some editing to do, and then fart around with that headache for a little bit, see what happens, and enjoy the rest of the day. So you guys take care, and we'll see you soon.